Hello, everybody. Today, let's talk about render. I haven't talked about render in a while because a lot of other people talk about render, to be completely honest. However, I am thinking I'm going to start doing more videos like this where I talk about price entries and price predictions on some crypto I own, like this one, Render, I do own, or ones that I'm looking at getting into when I take profits and move them into something else to compound gains, or ones that you guys just request and I know enough about that I feel comfortable enough to talk about it for a few minutes. I because I don't actually need to know much about a crypto to give you my opinion on a chart. However, I'm still probably going to stick to ones I know more about. But that's mostly what we're doing today, guys. So I want to give you guys entry points based off of what I think are going to be good spots. There are a couple things. If you've seen a couple of these videos already, I'll reiterate a little bit, but I think this is important so you understand where I'm coming from. Is I will give you guys a price prediction probably about halfway through, not waiting to the end, because I think it's important to understand where I'm coming from of where I think the price could get to. And when I'm looking at price entries, it is a little bit of, actually, it's a lot of bit of opinion, right? I'm not going to go down and look at all of the fib levels and all the technical analysis of looking for head and shoulders, reverse cup handles, inverse this, because when we're looking at holding something for weeks to months, which is what I am basing this on, of buying in to hold it until the peak of the cycle, I really don't find that stuff works too well for entry points. It lets us know when things are building up, which is nice. But I do think that it comes into play a lot when we're looking at the hourly or 4 hour and stuff like that, and you're doing day trading. But that is not what I'm talking about here today. Looking at where are good points to get in to hold and start building up the bag, or where's a good point to DCA in if you already own it. Same kind of thing. And that's what I'm going to hit up today on it. So if you're unfamiliar with render, you probably aren't if you're watching this video, but render's pretty freaking cool, guys, right? It's got strong partnerships. NVIDIA is the big one that we always talk about. It's NVIDIA's crypto. The CEOs of the two companies are essentially drinking buddies. Render has been used for rendering for Paramount Pictures, pretty large ass movie company, and it does rendering and GPU storage. Render is great. It's going to do very well this cycle, and it's got a good niche right there of utility with AI, and it can be used many different freaking ways. So very bullish on render. How bullish? Let's get in the chart momentarily. And for me, since I do own these, I might say DCA points versus entry points, because that's the way I look at it. Of if you already own it, where's good spots to get back in? And first and foremost, if you don't own render and you're looking at jumping in and you think it's going to hit $100, which I hear a lot of people, you could just buy in, right? I mean, it's at a good price right now. So price entry does dictate or depend on, I guess, how high you think it's going to go, and yeah, how necessary you feel it is to jump in. If you're like, I'm buying render no matter what, then just buy render, right? If you think that it might go down a little bit, I'm going to set in a buy limit a little lower, kind of what we'll talk about today. That's fine. Just realize that the lower you go, you might miss out on an entry of render, and that's fine, right? Just know what your risk and desire is. And now with that being said, I think we can move forward. So guys, this is important also, is I don't know when you're watching this video. Right now, the price is $4.43. Okay, good. That's an important reference right now. And I'll get right into my price prediction of where I think it's going to go. All right, I'll give you guys two thoughts. One is if it's incredibly bearish and it doesn't really quote unquote fly this cycle. And then I'll call it the more realistic to more bullish opinion of where I actually think it's going to go. And I do this for risk aversion, right? Of how much do you want to risk what you're putting in? And you can always pull out decent percentages at different lines, different points, which is 100% what I do. But we're looking at this right now. So we're around $4.45. Wonderful. I have this on the 3-month, 6-month chart. Okay. So, I mean, it's kind of gone down, up, down and back to where we started about 6 months ago. Interesting. What I have these lines here for, I think I'll hit all of them right now. But at the moment, we're at 444. Oh my God, it's moving. So we're right here. And I've got a couple different lines set up for a couple different reasons. It's, if you're like, oh my God, render's great, or render's already at a lower price than my average, there's no shame in hopping in right now. Again, obviously, guys, no financial advice, just my thought process. If I was looking at DCAing in, like this is actually right a little bit below my DCA entry. I don't feel like I need more render, but if I did, I'd probably put a limit down closer to here on the 4.15. Reason being, again, I know I'm zoomed out. This is for gross estimates. This has worked very well for me for swing trading, so I'm going to keep doing this. If this method doesn't appeal to you, then okay. I look on the general scale a lot of times for this, and where do I see a lot of resistance and or support? And that's where I usually want to go ahead and jump in at. So let's see if we zoom in on the 3-month, if we still keep that top line. I think we will. There we go. And we see, again, there's a little above, a little below, but this is right the range of several resistance and support lines. Here we got both resistance, support, 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 flew down just past the next line I have and came back up and blasted through resistance. And this is what I'm looking for on a larger scale, because it lets me know what does the general population, what do they think about good prices for buying or selling render? And you can tell based off of what moves. And again, large area of support. Support here, it missed and it plummeted. And again, what do you know? Right around these lines of support. And that's all I'm showing you guys, is that depending on your risk or how willing you are to wait and possibly miss render, that's what these price points are for me. So we got one right here at the I could just click the darn thing. Okay, 433. Again, 433 can be 436, 429, but not a bad spot, in my opinion, to put in a buy limit if you want to get in, but you're like, oh, I think it's going to go down a little bit. The next one I stated was around 413, and not too much lower than that, pretty much 4 and a nickel, 405. From there, I'm not going to confidently say we're going to plummet much further than that, with, you know, aside from like a black swan event or a major sell-off. But this could be one of those, well, screw it moments, right? Like if you're like, oh, I don't need another position, but I'll throw some in there. If it gets down this far, then we're talking about around the 370 marker. I have the line at 368. So this one's only relevant to me because it's been recent. All right, this was only, I think we can pull back on the month on this one. So here, if we go on the monthly, yeah, this line is kind of recent. So I don't really expect it to go back down this far. That's me, my opinion. But you can see it was roughly right around a lot of support and resistance. But if I wanted to, like, I'm happy with my render bag. So this is where I would put in. If I'm like, do it, I don't actually need more, but if it gets down there at that awesome price, screw it. Here comes a couple more dollars into it. And that's my viewpoint on that one. So guys, there it is. Figure I'm going to try to keep these short and sweet, precise, because there's only so much I'm going to talk about. In my opinion, this is where I would get in if, and this is where I would get in if. And as the market really starts moving, I might start doing this for sell limits as well. Though I've kind of already got my personal sell limit set for most of my crypto. I have no problem sharing it. I'll also give thoughts and opinions for if people get nervous or there's too much volatility of where we can end up going. But do realize sell limits are very dependent on what are your goals and what was your entry point, right? So let me know in the comments down below, what do you guys think about this method? One, the method of the video of me just doing price entry thoughts with a quick little prediction in there, because I don't want to emphasize the price prediction here of just telling you all the reasons and ways that I got it. Though if you really want, enough people ask, I will do that. because don't think you should take anyone's price prediction to heart whatsoever. It's a guess. More so, I think you just need one to know, well, if that's where the highest I think it's going to green candle wick and go, me personally, I'm going to be mostly sold out at that point, because what if I'm wrong? Right? Like if I think it's going to hit $75 and I'm waiting to sell any until 75 and it only hits 72 and goes down, I'm round tripping. Right? So for me, when I'm looking at a price prediction, once I come up with one, I'm going to be like 80 or 90% out by then, because if that's where I think the tippy top is going to be, well, I'm not going to risk being wrong with my money, right? And if I'm wrong on the inversion and it goes up a lot higher, that's what that extra 20, 10% remaining is there, right? I'd rather sit here and think, wow, I could have made a lot more money versus, wow, I'm bankrupt as fuck, right? So there's my thoughts about it, guys. If you've made it this long, or you found something of value of this, or you've watched me a couple of times, please do press the subscribe and the like button. They both matter. And either way, thank you for being here. I'll talk to all of you guys again soon. Peace.